Hello my lovely crafty people, and here we are again with our glue book and my box of prompts, and let's give it a shake and pick today's prompt. Today's prompt will be fairies. I'm going to gather together my resources, pause the video, and I'll be back to glue with you in one tick. And we're back. So this is my box of all my Flower Fairy stuff. It's gathered from a few Flower Fairy books that I've cut up, some sticker packs that I've kept. These are some of the pages from the book. Some of them I've cut out, and those are the ones we're going to use today. Yeah, just flicking through. So I pulled out this book cover, Buttercup Goes to the Ball, and I think I'm going to use something from that. So this is the backing paper from that. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to choose a fairy. I quite like this one. I quite like... So I'm just having a shuffle through them, choosing a few, placing a few, deciding if that's what I want for the page. And then I think I'm going to settle on... I don't know. I think I'm going to settle on the Buttercup one. She's quite bright, she's quite cheerful, and the backing paper from her book means that I can choose a colour theme. So the colour theme I'm going to choose is yellow. I've grabbed my tray of yellow scraps. There's all sorts in here, from scrapbook papers to gel plate prints, wrapping paper, etc. I have one for each colour, and they're really useful, really, just to grab the bits out of some cutouts and magazines and all sorts. But for today, I'm going to use yellow, and it's going to be the main theme of the page. I'm going to have the Flower Fairy as my focal point. It's really hard for me with this glue book to not kind of junk journal. I am a junk journaler, if you've seen any of my Junk Journal July videos. So I do like to create layers and add pockets and embellishments and 3D. But for my glue book, I'm trying to keep it as flat as possible. So I'm not always instantly happy with the page, but eventually I get there, because I want to add pockets and I want to add more. So it's really good for me to do this glue book because it just encourages me to collage, and I do enjoy a collage. I think it's one of my most favourite art forms that I do. Looking at the history of collage is really interesting, actually, and where it's come from, and the techniques that you use in collage. But for today, I'm just creating a scrap background using a range of yellows. I think we've got book paper, scrapbook paper. The yellow with the circles is actually, it's like a textured paper. It's almost fabric, which is quite cool. And then I've just grabbed this coordinating, it's very pale yellow spots, and I'm going to stick Buttercup down. So I'm just carrying on with my background just to fill in the gaps. And then I thought, she's got two straight edges on her. So I do have somewhere, where did I put it? There it is. I have another copy of this picture that's taken from the book cover. So I thought what I'll do is I'll use this one. So I'm just going to kiss cut it a little bit closer, speeding it up a little, just to kind of enhance it. I want to cut off some of that background. I do fussy cut these, and I get a craft knife out and I go in really close around the hair and cut all of the backgrounds out. For this one, I thought I'd just keep it as is. You can see I nearly cut the bottom. So as she's going to go in that corner, I've taken that piece of paper out, and I'm just going to cover the other corner. And I use a small piece of this just to fill in that white gap, and then we're almost ready. So she's going to sit there. I'm going to kiss cut some of the other buttercups that were on the same strip as her and just have those coming in from the other side. I could have left it as one long strip, but actually by kiss cutting it like this means that I can overlap them slightly and they both actually fit on the page without having to snip off the edges. You'll notice in this bottom one there is another flower, and that's vetch. So bear with, I may add another fairy in as this page is fairies. And let's see where we go. So just snipping off the excess and pop her down using my favourite chunky glue stick. I do like these glue sticks. They're $1.99 from the range and they last forever and they give a really good stick. And they're really soft to spread on, which is nice because I find Pritt Stick is actually quite stiff to spread on and quite often rips the paper. So I stopped using Pritt Stick many years ago. I prefer kind of a slightly cheaper glue that spreads easily. So that's her stuck down. And then I looked at the page and I was like, right, what do I do now? I'm going to use some of the stickers and put some bees on the page as well, but I think it needs more fairies. Just pop that out of the way for now. So I went to my box of stamps on book pages and looked for some bees. You can see I've just got quite a few stamps. These are my own stamp collection that I've just stamped on book pages and sketchbook paper because that's quite thicker, and then I just kiss cut them. This one is really cute because I stamped it in black and then I stamped it over the top with gold, so it's got a little bit of a shimmer, as has this one. And just gonna have those on the page. And then I was like, I was looking for the Buttercup Fairy poem. I thought she was in the spring, but actually what I think she's in is the Flower Fairies of the Wayside book, and I've only got one copy of that, so I don't really want to cut that one up. So back to the fairies, and let's see if I have got the yellow fairy. There we go. This is the vetch fairy. So vetch is a wildflower. Buttercups technically are a wildflower as well. So I just thought the two of them go together, and in the bottom, in that flower border, you've got the vetch. So I thought these all go together nicely and bring in another colour element to the page, but sticking with the yellow as the main theme. So just kiss cutting this one so that just makes it stand out a little, and then I'm going to include her to the page. She's quite a cute one. So I'm peeling off these daisies, buttercups, and I'm going to stick the vetch fairy down behind it, just clearing off the scraps. Most of my scraps, if they're kind of like thumbnail size or bigger, will go in my scrap tray. I've got a tray just under my desk. I do have quite a few of the IKEA tray fast units, and I've got one under my desk with trays, and in there I've got a tray with scrap papers that I use when I'm doing my snippet roll, or if I just need a teeny tiny scrap or something. So I think I'll leave that for the fairies for now, and I'm just going to glue on some of these bees, just gluing them into the background, just to add them to the image. Just finished off the page. If you remember right at the beginning, I did grab out the Flower Fairy sign, the logo, and I will include that on the edge of the page. The sticker that I pulled out of my box, I'm not actually going to use, but I'm going to put that back in my stickers, and I will keep that for a later date. I've taken it out of the box now because I've done a fairy page. It doesn't mean I'm not going to do another fairy page later on. When I've gone through the prompts, I may go back and do some more. So I grabbed some washi tapes that coordinate with the page. Some of them got bee themed and the yellow, and just coordinating it in with the page, just giving it that another level of collage. And then you'll see just in the bottom left corner I've got my quote book. So once I've finished adding the washi tapes, I will find a suitable quote to add to the page. I'm going to try and include a quote if I can on each page. It'll either be a sentiment from my quote stickers or a sentiment that I found online that I either write out or something, a bit like I did with the last one. So where should we go? I'm going to keep with the black on the white. I do have white with gold on, but I quite like the way the black and the white stand out. And then I'm just looking for something else to go in that bottom right corner. There you go. So I'm just going to snip this one in half, as it's quite a long quote. And I'm going to just have it stuck down there. So bloom where you are planted. Thank you.